everybody, my name is Jens Kruger, and I'm very happy to play this banjo here today. This is the Maple Blossom made by the Deering Banjo Company, and I will tell you a little bit about the features of this particular instrument. First of all, this is the only instrument that Deering makes in the Deering line, not in the artist line, just the regular Deering line, that actually comes standard with an arched fingerboard. Now, I started playing arched fingerboards a while ago because I was playing a lot of electric guitar, I was playing acoustic guitar, and just to feel, you know, switching from one instrument to the other, it just felt very natural. So when you play guitar and, you know, electric guitar or just acoustic guitar, most of the time, you know, they have arched fingerboards. Classical guitars usually don't, but then you're just used to that feel, you know, of a slightly arched fingerboard. This is not as radiused as some, you know, of the old banjos, you know, from the 30s, you know, would have had, you know, real arched, and they had a different arch here than here. It was a very special way of how they did it. This is pretty much just like, you know, maybe you know, Fender guitar, or, you know, something like that. And as the name suggests, it's maple, because maple blossom. Actually, the inlays were designed by Janet. She drew them up, you know, in the 70s. And that's when the banjo was actually introduced. But it underwent, you know, a lot of, you know, changes. There's a better tailpiece now, the 06 tone ring, the violin, great maple rim. Well, you know, what that means is it's a really, really good maple that resonates extremely well and has a very good elasticity and weight ratio in the density of the wood, which makes the rim just to be, you know, really great, you know, for acoustic properties. The resonator is maple. It's all curly maple, and as with all banjos, you know, they vary when they have curly maple. You have you know, they're farther apart or closer, or have maybe little swirls in it and things, you know, so you never know. But they always select, you know, beautiful wood, you know, for this banjo, and it's a dark brown stain. Also, the peg head has this double binding, you know, this little white stripe. Looks very elegant, especially when you play. It looks really, really nice. The neck shape is a standard Deering neck shape, which means it's very, very comfortable. It's a little wider here than some of the banjos out in the market. It's just because all Deerings do that, because you just have a little bit more room for the fingers. The same room you would have here, basically, you know. You know, why would you have all of a sudden a very narrow space here and you have to open up your fingers up here? So it makes sense, you know, to be a little bit more close to what you have all around the fingerboard. Also, the neck shape itself is just a little bit less here than here. It's a little bit more here than here, but just a little bit. So you don't have to really open up your hand while going up and down the neck. Makes it all very comfortable and very, very beautiful to play. Because it's maple, it has a very, you know, distinct, you know, clean tone. And you can especially hear that in the bass frequencies, you know, when you hear the string. And maple also stays really, really beautiful in the highs. Quite hard right now. I'm playing, you know, quite forceful. And when you play in a bluegrass situation, of course, that's what you do, you know, when you play. But listen to how it sounds when you vamp. see how this is really monstrous. Which comes in handy when you're playing. But I always like to demonstrate it on banjos. Do that. Go to a music store and get a banjo from the wall, and you can hear how the first initial note, maybe play it somewhere here in the middle, and play the 8th fret, maybe 2nd string. And you see how the string actually, how it sounds. It's, with all the banjos in the market, it's difficult sometimes to just determine what am I listening for, or what am I looking for, in a good banjo tone. And I think the transient, of how the note actually appears, how it just sort of gets into this world is very important, because that's what's left in a lot of the mixes or what you got. So the speed on which the note actually appears and what kind of frequency range actually comes at you at first is really important. Now, you listen to this here. This is a very clean, fast dunk. And then you see, when I just move my finger a little bit, let's just don't move my finger. It's hard to do it, sort of how to build in. You see how long the note actually stays? And if I move my finger a little bit, I can do something with the note, which really comes in good. See that? So because you have a banjo then that actually allows you to have this sustain on hand if you like it, it inspires you to play differently. Of course, when you play bluegrass, sometimes it's very important to have a dry sound, what they call. That has a lot to do with the banjo setup, not just the banjo itself. Let's, for instance, thinner strings will make a drier sound in the mix because the strings disappear quicker. They just don't have as much sustain. A thicker string give you a little bit more of a longer sustain. But it all depends on how hard then you actually play the string. But this is just an individual, that's just a medium gauge setup. The head is on an A, a little bit below an A, which is really nice. Then 10, 11, 13, 20 to 10 light gauge strings, sort of. But you can hear, I love this banjo. Because it can almost have flute-like qualities. And when I think about this banjo got just put together, I think 2 days ago or something, and then it got shipped over here. So this is quite remarkable. Of course, this is real abalone inlays. The tuners are the best you can get. They're super smooth. They're absolutely the best. I'm very, very proud of Deering making a banjo this good, So check it out. Thank you.